Leviticus 19. And that's the fault of all of these greedy preachers who've been lying to people. So that's why we have to point that out. It ain't that we just want to talk about people, but they are deceiving people and leading people to hell with this false teaching. Leviticus 19 and verse 17. Leviticus 19 and 17. Okay, go ahead.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Oh, well, hate is opposite of love, right? So we've been commanded to love or not hate, right? Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. In Leviticus. Go ahead.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
See, you got responsibility concerning your neighbor, your brother or sister. He said, you should not hate your brother in your heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. See, if there's a problem with your brother or sister, you have a duty or a responsibility to tell them about it. But you have to make sure it's a problem first, because sometimes we will invent problems. We will invent problems. I know it from my own experience. And you will build up, before you know it in your mind, it's a full-blown problem. But if you only would have said something, you might even been corrected. Matter of fact, just yesterday, he don't go to this class, so I don't think there's nobody here. A brother was talking to me, and he was telling me about some issues he have, and it's just, I said, but you ain't really told me nothing. And then he told me one time, he said, well, I know the brother envy me. The brother envy me. I said, what proof do you have that the brother envy you? And he couldn't give me. He said, I don't have none. I said, well, you shouldn't say that, because you could be lying. But he think the brother, and the brother could be envying, but he don't have no proof. He don't have no proof. And he had to admit he didn't have. I said, what proof do you have? See, I don't let people just tell me stuff about other people. I said, what proof do you have that he envy you? Give me an example. He could just disagree with you. That don't mean he envy you. So, but that's the way it is. We can make up problems in our mind. That's why the Lord warns you about hating your brother without a cause, because he knows that's a problem for man. So, but the thing is, if there is a problem, if you got grounds, you got some evidence, not nothing made up in your mind. You got some evidence, some clear-cut evidence. See, until you get the evidence, you just let it ride. Jesus didn't even say nothing about Judas. He was hanging around all the time. Jesus didn't say nothing to him. He didn't even get mad at him. Because if somebody is doing wrong, they only going to hurt themselves. And the Lord going to pull the cover off of them in due time. You can rest assured of that. So you don't even have to sweat over it. But we be sweating over it because it's us. So now, anyway, what he say? He said, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So you have a responsibility. If it's a legitimate problem, yeah, instead of holding a grudge even then and building it up, telling Channel 5 News, you have a responsibility to talk to them and get it straight. And a lot of times it could easily get straight, even though don't nobody want to hear nobody rebuke them or tell them they did something wrong. But we got to learn to be humble and take correction. So, but if you got some legitimacy, that's your responsibility to rebuke your neighbor, to tell him, say, you know, you did such and such, that was wrong. Not because you so mad and you want to bust him upside the head, but you really should want to straighten the situation out. Why? Because you operating out of love, right? See, you don't go rebuke somebody because you upset and you come with all kind of attitude and stuff. That seems like you want to fight. That seems like hate and not love. So when you rebuking somebody, you really are rebuking them out of love. So that's what he's talking about. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. See, you getting them out of their sin. You ain't thinking about you. I'm just so mad at you. I just got to tell you something. Sit down right here. Let me tell you. No, you helping them. Go ahead, 18.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Oh, don't avenge. You're not avenging or bearing a grudge against your brothers and sisters. But what?
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
Oh, back to love, huh? Back to the basics. See, all of this give you love in detail, don't it? What not to do, what to do, how to handle this. He spelled out love clearly for us, didn't he? And said, but thou shalt love thy neighbor. That's a big statement, as yourself again, brother and sister. That's a big statement. As yourself. Then he said, I am the Lord. He said, look, I'm the one that's telling you to do that, and you got to answer to me ultimately. Because all of it offends God. Whether it's directly against him or indirectly against him by doing something to your neighbor, it offends him, and he's telling you to do it, right? God is the one telling us to love, right?
That's right.
And we see that the two greatest pertains, the first one to him with everything you got, the second one to your neighbor, love him as yourself. So again, love been around, hasn't it? So don't let nobody fool you. See, but they giving you them lies because they don't want to get away from the laws and don't want to have no responsibility to the law in the Old Testament. They fooling themselves. And they're going to end up in a lot of trouble if they don't change. But now, let's go to Matthew, the New Testament, Matthew 7. Back to the New Testament. Told you, Jesus didn't bring no new concept of love. Jesus brought the chief example of love and pointed that out to us. He's the chief example. Man didn't do nothing wrong and let them do all that stuff to him. Spit on him. You can't even take somebody looking at you funny. They spit on him. Nailed him to a tree. Talk crazy to him. And he didn't do nothing wrong, but he did all of that out of love. He did that out of love. Matthew 7. Matthew 7, one verse, verse 12. Go ahead.
Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets.
Oh, again, no new concept for Jesus, is it? See, again, they twist that newness that he gave in that one verse, and they're going to make a whole brand new teaching out of it. And do away with all the old teaching that already set things up for us, established things, gave us everything we need. That's why John broke it down and said, I ain't really writing no new commandment unto you. The old commandment is good enough. The word which you had from the beginning, that's what you need to be about. So Jesus telling you that here, right? This is Jesus talking. He said, therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophet. This ain't nothing new he made up, is it?
No, sir.
He said, this is the law and the prophets. We just read it in the law, Leviticus and Deuteronomy, about love, right?
Right.
We just read specifically about loving your neighbor as yourself, not bearing grudges and all of that stuff, right? This is the law and the prophets. Let's go to Romans 13. So again, that concept been around, brothers and sisters. Love and life embodied in God's law. The very thing that people want to do away with and get away from, because they want to take what they want. They really don't want to do none of it. I know really behind the scenes they don't want to do none of it. But they can't just openly say, yeah, you know, I want to keep fornicating. So, and I think I still going to have some grace. See, I'm saved by grace. And in the back of my mind, I want to keep fornicating. I don't want no responsibility. That's really what they're saying. So really, they don't want none of it, but they only say certain things openly, like the dietary law. See, you ain't got to keep that dietary law because they think that's something that they can just easily talk their way out of. You know, you can eat pork, just pray over it. They twist a couple of verses on that. You ain't got to keep the Sabbath day. That changed. Now, that's one of the 10 Commandments, which is real ludicrous. But, so they openly deny those. They openly deny observing God's holy days, which we getting ready to observe, the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread that's in their Bible. We getting ready to observe that. They openly deny that for other things that they observe. But in a nutshell, they don't really want to do none of it. But he's telling you it all goes back to the law. Romans 13 and verse 10. That's what Jesus just said. He said, whatsoever you would that men do to you, do you even so to them. And this ain't a new concept. This is the law and the prophets. Romans 13 and 10. Go ahead.
Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
See, now Paul even understood that, right? But see, people would twist what Paul said. Paul said, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is fulfilling of the law. So that's what people kind of twisted. Like I said earlier, they said, well, you got a new commandment, and see, all we got to do is love now. So in other words, I can throw away the law. I can throw away, I ain't got to worry about eating pork. I ain't got to worry about the Sabbath day. I ain't got to worry about the holy days, because I got the commandment of love, and I just got to be nice to my brothers and sisters. Look, it's bigger than that, isn't it?
That's right.
We saw the first commandment is loving the Lord. You going to throw that out? You can't throw that out. And if you love your neighbor according to script, it's still going back to the law, because love is embodied in God's holy law. So when he said, verse 10, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law, he's not saying scrap all the Old Testament and just, you fulfill the law just by loving one. See, that's what people want to do. So I'll be nice to this sister, be nice to this brother, and say, I ain't got to worry about no law in the Old Testament. That's not what he's saying. But they say, see, it's fulfilled, brother. It's fulfilled in love. It's love. Come on, my children, in love. Look, your concept of love is skewed if it's not in line with the law. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is fulfilling of the law. Sure, it's the fulfilling of the law, because it is you doing the law. Let's make sure. Back up to verse 8. See, if you just read that verse, you might let somebody trip you up. But just back up and read a little more. Verse 8.
Owe no man anything but to love one another.
Oh, see, you should get yourself caught up owing people. And if you owe somebody something, it's your responsibility to pay them. So he said, owe no man anything, but your responsibility to people is what? To love one another. Go ahead.
For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
See, he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. But it ain't doing away with the old concept of the love, is it?
No, sir.
Which started out, see, that's what they try to make it. He that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. And that goes for anybody. Because Israel wanted where they, the Lord gave them laws about one another, but they were supposed to love other nationalities as well. But some Israelites want to hate other nationalities. Even Jesus, when we didn't read all of that when the man asked him, well, we ain't got to it yet, actually. I'm thinking, I'm ahead of myself. But the man go ask him about getting eternal life, and he said, later on the man said, well, who is my neighbor then? And Jesus gave him, he going to give him an analogy. We ain't going to read it. He gave him an analogy about a Samaritan who was neighborly to somebody. But see, they looked down on the Samaritans. The Samaritans didn't know God like they did, but they still could be a good neighbor and love somebody by doing what they need to do toward them. So, but anyway, verse 9, verse 8, he said, owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. Now, what is that embodied in? Go ahead.
For this, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Oh, now that sounds like the old commandments, right? Oh, so love still is embodied in the law, isn't it?
That's right.
It ain't fulfilled in some pretentious figment that you call love. It's in the law already. He said, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. Verse 9 said, for this thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not kill.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not steal.
Oh, you can't do those things and walk around talking about you love according to God. You don't love. So it all is detailed in the law. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
Oh, because if you lie on your brother or sister, even accidentally, that's why you have to be careful about saying things. You are not exhibiting true love. That's not love. So he said, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness. He mentioned adultery and killing. All of that is not love. What else?
Thou